They both sat back looking like they sucked on a lemon and didn't say anything, and I walked out. Shortly after that, I think it was about a week, the CIA credit union raised the interest rates on our car loans. Now, granted, I had resigned, so now our livelihood was in jeopardy. The CIA credit union raised the interest rates on our car loans, which caused the payments to be higher. Then they threatened to repossess the cars if we didn't make those higher payments. I called the credit union, the supervisor, not knowing what was going on, said, I don't believe they did this. This looks like some kind of retribution, which I have on tape. Then I tried to cash out my retirement funds to save my family because we no longer had any income. I put in a request for disbursement of my retirement funds. We had nothing to live on. We'd lost our health insurance, all of our property, and got a call from the Office of Personnel Management stating that they would not release my retirement benefits. And I asked, what do you mean? You kind of have to do that by law. And the lady responded, your agency has ordered us not to disperse those funds. So I did some checking, found out that's a felony. So I called this lady back at OPM, and I said, ma'am, you understand that what you're doing, I don't care who told you to do it, but what you're doing is a felony. I suggest you look into that. And I had my disbursement within 1 week. So at that point, I had taken my wife and oldest son and my youngest daughter and son to a psychologist because they were really suffering. My oldest son was diagnosed with PTSD. So was my wife. My kids were having nightmares of men in dark clothes breaking in and taking their stuff, which is not far from what happened. They were diagnosed as suffering from anxiety, and really they were devastated. I knew what they wanted, the agency. I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to totally destroy me so I would keep my mouth shut and go away. I learned later that this is a technique that they've used multiple times before, and they've perfected it. I've had people say, man, you're going to wind up in a dumpster or something, and my response is always, no, they don't kill you fast. They kill you slow. So it doesn't look like they're doing it. They'll destroy your finances. They'll destroy your career. They'll destroy your reputation and try to push you really to the end, and that's what they did in this case. I found out that that's really an MO that they've used quite a bit. The problem with them is I've got a faith that is outside of my professional life, and that gave me courage. And this time, someone was going to stand up against them and stop this. So I decided to hold the CIA accountable for what they did to my family. I contacted Congress. I requested a congressional inquiry. A couple of congressmen were very, very kind and very, very helpful. I have to mention Frank Wolf. He's probably one of the only constitutional congressmen left on the Hill. True hero. Really tried to hammer the CIA and get them to release the evidence. And the agency didn't even bother to return any of his calls. I think they made 6 calls, and they didn't even bother to call him back. So I couldn't get anything done through Congress. They were still doing this to my family, so I finally decided I wrote From the Company of Shadows. The first book that I wrote, which is now Chapter 26, was about what happened to our family with the doctor's diagnosis and the illnesses and the cover-up. I got that back from the CIA Pre-Publication Review Board, and it looked like somebody had taken a can of black spray painted the whole document. Everything was blacked out, even the names of my wife and children and the names of our attorney. I mean, just simple, ridiculous things. So I decided, okay. So I wrote From the Company of Shadows, and after about a 2-year battle, we got a lot through in there through a Freedom of Information Act, citing the executive order that prevents them from blacking out unclassified information, which they completely ignored in Chapter 26. But I got a lot through. I included Chapter 26, which is blacked out on purpose, so people will read through these actual accounts of CIA operations and how the CIA functions, and all of a sudden they come to Chapter 25, which is titled The Tyranny of Secrecy, and that's what we're seeing now with the NSA in Benghazi. But it's called The Tyranny of Secrecy, and I show this mechanism that they use to cover things up using the power of secrecy. And then I go into Chapter 26, and that's an actual case, that's our story, and it's completely blacked out. So Chapter 26 is the account I wrote of in my first book that they blacked out about 90%, virtually entirely. And as I mentioned, including all the way down to the name of my wife and children. So From the Company of Shadows, I battled the CIA for about 2 years. They examined, the Pre-Publications Review Board examined every word and every sentence of the entire book, and after 2 years they finally sent me a letter saying the book was approved for release. Unknown to them, I built a code into the book. and in from the Company of Shadows, there's a code that exposes the blackouts in Chapter 26 and what they did to our family, and the CIA missed it. So it's in the book.
Interesting. Well, Kevin.
Yeah, sure, Doug.
If I can ask a couple of questions.
Yes.
Let me start from present and kind of go backwards. First of all,
sure.
How are you and your wife and your children? Are you physically recovered? Are you well? Are you okay?
No. My son still suffers. His immune system is still shot. He's sick most of the time. He still has PTSD. My wife has PTSD. She was sick for about a year, very sick. She's recovered from that. However, any livelihood for her is gone. I think she's holding down 2 part-time jobs. It ruined our marriage. We got divorced. She couldn't take it anymore, and I understand that totally. But we're still on good terms, and we talk regularly. But she has no income. I completely lost my career. The CIA called other private companies that do the sort of work my expertise is in, and some of them are former supervisors of mine. They gave me good recommendations, brought me in there to hire me, called the CIA, and the CIA told them, don't hire him. And they asked, well, why? Why? And they said, we're just ordering you not to hire him. So they ruined my career completely.
Wow.
17 years of what. So here I am now. Now I'm a writer. I'm writing books, and in terms of doing that kind of work, they decimated that. My children, and this is the reason I am coming out now with the code. My children basically have lost their future. We lost our income. We lost our property. They have now lost all hope of ever going to college because we don't have the money now set aside to do that. And I had included the code in from the Company of Shadows as a legacy to them after I was gone, so that their story would be told. They've been pleading with me lately. They're still suffering. That's why I decided to come out and say, okay, you can mess with me all you want, but you just don't mess with a man's children. So that's why I decided to do this interview and to come out with the fact that there is a code woven in the book and what it reveals.
And listeners, ladies and gentlemen, members of the extended Hagmann and Hagmann family, you're listening to the testimony of Kevin M. Shipp, a former CIA officer. Wow. Kevin, let me ask this. When you were describing the sickness, the house that you lived in, the contamination, was this deliberately placed there, or was this just, dare I say, coincidental? I mean, what happened?
Well, I had a good working relationship with the FBI, and we did some investigations together. And the FBI agent even asked me when she found out some of these things that were going on. She said, "You think that this is retribution?" And I mulled that over a little bit. And if you think back to that big investigation I did that embarrassed the whole organization, began to realize that this may be connected. And then when the head, the officer that got rebuked for that investigation I did, all of a sudden became in charge of where my house was located, and walked into the office one day, I realized, this is connected. So
wow.
we don't know that there was a poison in there. They wouldn't let us test to see what it was. They basically capped that. My samples came back. There was definitely Stachybotrys, which is it's a mold that puts out mycotoxins and causes neurological damage, and Aspergillus causes liver damage. The reports came back that there was toxic black mold in there. The water was contaminated in some of the wells, but there was something else. And obviously we were prevented from finding out what that was. And I've had people ask me, even our attorney said, why are they going after your family with such a vengeance? And why don't they just settle? And my response was, I don't know, but there's something more there they don't want people to know about, and apparently they're using us as the anvil to pound on to shut this thing down, and that's the conclusion that we reached.
So they were and did make an example of you. Wow. I'm just trying to process this. I cannot imagine living through what you lived through, the the
real
slow
life
kill.
burn notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, working for an agency such as the CIA, when you're inside there, you'd think that you would be respected and treated with some dignity, and to hear what you have gone through, it is like the service that you've done for your country has been ignored, and you've been targeted.
It's difficult to. Wow. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I say in the book that I learned that, and I think any officer that comes out and talks will tell you this, the CIA eats its own. They are not loyal to their employees. All they care about is protecting their operations and what they're doing. I saw several lives and careers ruined while I was in there, so they tried to use me as an example, but I'm by no means the only case. There are other cases out there. This is what they do. So, no, they are not loyal. They'll come out, as they did in our case, and say, we take the health of our employees very seriously, unquote. And usually when they come out with a statement, you just believe the opposite. But no, they have no loyalty to their people. The loyalty is only to the protection of the organization, and anybody that rocks that boat is going to receive a firestorm.
Well, okay. Now, you mentioned the code that you built in there, and I don't know how deep you want to talk about that. Is it's part of you included it in the part of the book? Is that what you did, or?
Yeah, Doug. The code is woven through the book. There are certain pictures in the book that have a meaning behind them, and I have a key to this. It's kind of a multifaceted code. There are certain passages in the book that when you examine them closely, they reveal how the state secrets privilege was used against our family to silence our case. And then I embedded a numeric code in certain parts of the text, and there's a numerical key sequence that I have stamped on the inside of the jacket of the copies of the books that I've sold at Speeches and the ones that I send to folks through my website. It's on Amazon.com, but since I don't have access to those books, the numerical sequence will not be stamped on the inside cover, although the code will be in the book. So I wove this numerical sequence through the text, stamped it on the inside cover, and what I've done is I've released both the code and the key to you and your program, just because I believe you all are one of the last bastions of freedom of the press left, and I think holding government accountable this way is the only way we're going to maintain what's left of our freedoms.
Absolutely, and I thank you for what you've done now. Wow! So this is the first time. Is this the first time publicly you've referenced this, or about the code, or?
This is the very first time that I've told anyone about this. As I mentioned earlier, originally I built the code into the book as a legacy to my now ex-wife and current children, so that someday, maybe after my passing, they'd have the key and they'd be able to go to the press with this story using the code and the key that was in there. Of course, since they're still suffering and their lives are ruined, they've been pleading with me. I decided to come out. And this is the first time I've ever brought the code out and discussed it with anyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to history being made. In my view, here is an true American patriot, gave his country, gave everything, gave his all for the service of his country, and was. I don't even have any words to describe what happened to you. I mean, I've heard stories, and I have friends within and outside at the periphery of the agency. And I've got to tell you, yours, Mr. Shipp, is a story that I'm really shaken right now by what you're telling me. So I can only imagine what your wife, your family, you went through. Do you blame any administration or I mean, the larger picture?
Doug, this is pan administration and it's pan political party. This apparatus, this giant secret government, to include the state secret privilege and the NSA program, was set up under the administration of George Bush. The apparatus was put into place under that administration, and now under the Obama administration, it's become a monster. They're taking that apparatus and they're using it to target citizens. So it's both Democratic and Republican.